wants you to lose.
Huh?
Guys, everybody wants you to lose.
I know. It ain't gonna happen.
Don't run away.
It ain't gonna happen.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, it ain't gonna happen.
Hey, what's up? It's Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to do a fight breakdown for Shakur versus Artem. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time to subscribe to the channel. It only takes one click. And if you could, also tell a friend. Now, without further ado, let's jump into this. I want to start off with boxing IQ. Who has a higher boxing IQ between Shakur Stevenson and Artem? Now, Artem doesn't have a ton of fights, but Shakur Stevenson hasn't. I mean, realistically, I've never seen Shakur really tested or pushed or anything. Now, I know he had his last fight where everybody was like, whoa, nothing happened. It wasn't that he was tested. It's just that he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything, and his opponent really didn't press anything. So there wasn't anything to say that he was tested. Nothing really happened. However, Shakur Stevenson is extremely hard to hit. And he's one of those people, unfortunately, he's not going to be appreciated until he's like in his 60s. So that's the downside of, fighting the way he fights. Unless you're like a truly passionate boxing lover, you'll watch Shakur Stevenson and say, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen. But if you know what you're looking at and you know how to really watch boxing and if you know what you're looking for, then you're going to truly appreciate him. I mean, look at Floyd Mayweather. He didn't get like his true appreciation until like years after he retired. And even still, people really don't appreciate what they've seen. If you look at the fight with Cotto, brilliance. The fight with Maidana, the second one, brilliance. Canelo, that fight with Floyd Mayweather, brilliance. Marquez, brilliance, without a shadow of a doubt. Ricky Hatton, brilliance. But he's not gonna get like credit until he's like probably long past after he's no longer doing these exhibitions. He's not gonna get any credit for it. And Shakur Stevenson is clearly going down that same path. Sometimes you're too good for your own good, unfortunately. He has a high boxing IQ. And listen, the first rule in boxing is don't get hit. So the fact that he can avoid getting hit just shows just how intelligent he is. And people say, oh, he's running. Well, you also have to see it coming. You also have to foresee things coming as well. It is chess when you're in that ring. And when I look at Artem, he doesn't have a low boxing IQ. He knows how to play shots. He's not a wild and reckless guy. I'm not going to give this a tie. I do think Shakur Stevenson has a bit of a superior boxing IQ. But that's only because Artem will at times put himself in danger in order to get a shot off himself. While Shakur Stevenson is just not going to do that. He's great at setting traps, but one thing he will not do is place himself in harm's way. Let's see. I'm going to go now to durability. Who's more durable? I think Artem by far. Like I said, I don't think anybody's seen Shakur Stevenson hit. And if you've really seen him hit or crack, he's never been cracked consecutively. So I don't know how he handles a full-on assault from somebody who gets off with clean shots on him. I don't know. I can tell you Artem's pretty durable. I can tell you he's going to be there. I can tell you when the smoke clears, he will be there and he'll be there to return fire. That much I can tell you. So I got to give it to Artem for that in terms of durability. Speed. Got to go Shakur Stevenson. Again, he's a defensive fighter first, so naturally he's going to have speed because he's looking for everything. Any kind of twitch, any kind of, bat of an eye, he's going to be out of there. And that doesn't necessarily take speed, but it's a split second. It only takes like a hot second to throw a punch. So, yeah, it does take, I take that back. It does take a lot of speed to do that. To see and to gauge when somebody's going to throw a punch, gauge the distance in which can he land this punch, and for you to be out of there. That only takes probably no more than 2 seconds. And Shakur Stevenson is very fast. And everybody's like, oh, speed. No, but there's a lot more that goes into speed. You have to see it. You have to see it. If you don't see it, it doesn't matter. If you don't see it, you're going to get hit with it. I don't care how skilled you are. If you don't see it, you're going to get hit with it. Got to give it to Shakur Stevenson when it comes to speed. I think Artem does put his punches together pretty well. But mainly that's because Artem gets off first. Let's see, defense. Gotta go with Shakur. I mean, that's his bread and butter. That's what he lives by. That is not what Artem lives by. It's what he lives by. He'd rather play it safe than sorry. He would rather live to see another day and fight on another day. Shakur Stevenson is never gonna be placed in an area or a threat where he's going to have some damaging fight where you're like, I don't think you should fight again. He's never going to be that guy. He's never going to be Errol Spence. I don't know what he has in him in terms of if you turn up the heat in there with him. I'm not saying he doesn't have a dog. I'm just saying his first instinct is not to go in there and have a dog fight. That's what I'm saying. Mental toughness. Well, Shakur Stevenson has never lost, so you got to give it to him for the mental toughness. Although, listen, Artem is a bronze medalist, so he's no slouch, first and foremost. He's no slouch. In order to make it to becoming a bronze medalist, you have to fight the best of the best, the creme de la creme. So he's not a slouch, and I don't want to paint him as a slouch just because he didn't get this point. But when it comes to mental toughness, I typically give it to the guy who's undefeated. I think that's fair, and I don't feel like anybody would dispute that. So I got to give it to Shakur Stevenson. Although, one thing I will mention about Artem, you can see I don't think he's taking Shakur Stevenson lightly. I think it comes across as he's taking him lightly. I think this has a huge semblance with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia at no point was ever in fear that Devin Haney could knock him out during the press conferences. And he said it. And I think it's the same thing with Artem and Shakur Stevenson. It's like, well, you may win, but I'm in no physical danger. You just may win. I'm in danger of losing, you winning more points than me. But in no shape or form am I in a physical danger. And that's where I think his comfort lies, how he's kind of like laughing at Shakur Stevenson every 5 seconds. That's where it comes from. Body work. Who's a better body puncher? Artem, by far. He's a heavier-handed guy, by far. He's built like a tank. Even though Shakur Stevenson's like, oh, you're small. Yeah, but he's a durable guy. You can tell he can get bigger. And on the night of, he will be bigger. And, you can say that he's small, but I guarantee you on the night of, who'll be pushing who back. I don't believe it should be Shakur Stevenson pressing Artem back. I don't believe that at all. Artem can really throw on a body assault. He can throw on assault, period. But his body work is pretty heavy. He's a heavy-handed guy. He's fast hands. And he lets him go. He's not afraid to throw a combination. So, yeah, body work, got to give it to Artem. Versatility. I'm only giving this to... Listen, Shakur Stevenson kind of does the same thing to everybody. Because, again, I can't really say where he's truly been tested. When I say tested, I mean like having a rocky moment. That's what I mean. I mean like Rocky 4. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like, Ivan Drago type Rocky. Like, you have to press yourself. You have to test yourself. You have to try another way because this ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I have not seen that with Shakur Stevenson. I never seen him beat up. I never seen him limping out of a ring. So because of that, I'm going to give him versatility because he makes everybody contort to him versus him saying, all right, how do I deal with this? I'm going to have to do this in order to deal with this particular opponent. No, Shakur Stevenson's like, no, you still got to catch me. Like, nope, I'm still smarter than you. Nope, I'm still faster than you. Nope, I still gauge distance a whole lot better than you. And he frustrates a lot of people. So I'll give him versatility for that. Footwork. Artem actually has really good footwork. Again, I'm only giving Shakur this, and he's winning, and he's getting these points by like 1 point, like one notch. Let me be clear about that. It's because nobody can get close to him. Nobody can get close to him. And I feel the footwork is going to be the huge factor in this fight. And let me briefly explain why. Artem likes to fight at distance. Although he's a tough guy with heavy hands and he's great at putting his combinations together up close and personal, he would prefer to fight at distance. I don't really know why, but I mean, he's good at it. I'm not knocking it. I think he's good at it, but I don't think this is the best opponent to fight at distance. I think this is where the trouble is going to come for Artem. Because he likes to fight at distance. I think he likes the comfort of distance. Because most heavy-handed guys, they know they need a little bit of space for momentum when they punch. And that's what Artem's banking on. You look at Deontay Wilder. He has that ball and chain, but he cocks back. You look at Anthony Joshua, same thing. He's cocking back. You look at a Triple G, same thing. He's cocking back. When you deal with heavy-handed people, they want to load up when they throw those big bombs. And, Artem's no different. But I think this is the wrong opponent to be fighting at distance. And I look at that, I'm like, and he has that wide stance so he can really, get everything on that punch. But I think that's going to be, I'm not going to necessarily say the downfall of him, but I think it's going to be the beginning of trouble for Artem. Just allowing so much distance. Because, listen, you're already going to have Shakur in his comfort zone by fighting at distance. And then you're going to, load up. He's he's definitely faster than you. He's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. And you're going to get counterpunched like all day because he's not going to be there. That's the one thing about Shakur Stevenson. He is defensive-minded first. He will not be there. Shakur Stevenson is not the guy who's going in there to have a fun mix-up with you. It's not going to happen. He's not that guy. Let's see. Best range. Well, I just said it. Both of these guys like to fight at range. So I don't really need to go on that anymore. Both guys like to fight at range. I do think Artem, hopefully, if I'm Artem, I'm thinking, I know he can't physically knock me out. I'm going to press him. I'm going round one. I'm going to be up in his chest. I know he can't knock me out, and I know he won't stand his ground. That's all I need to know. He can't knock me out, and he won't stand his ground. Get all up in his grill, Artem. Literally, get all up in his grill. He can't knock you out. He doesn't have enough punching power for that, and he won't stand his ground. So change up what you do, at least for this particular opponent, for this particular fight, and rush in there like a bull and handle your business. I would say throw up a high guard. He's not going to, hurt anything as you're coming forward. But even do the whole George Foreman, do that little guy right there. But don't fight at distance. I can tell you that. Don't fight at distance. In terms of Shakur, really just keep doing what you're doing. It's paid off thus far. I can't really knock it or anything like that. You don't have any losses or anything like that. Barely ever loses a round, so I can't really knock anything. But yeah, people want to see an entertaining fight. So pick your spots, but stand your ground. I think Artem is the type of guy where you have to pick your spots because if he doesn't respect you after like round two, it's going to be a long, long night. Danger. Who's more dangerous? By far, Artem is more dangerous. By far. Great combination puncher, willing to stay in there, willing to not only pick his shots, but willing to plant his feet and then throw his bombs. By far, Artem hits harder. By far, I think Artem has he's more of a guts and glory type of fighter. And that's going to make him dangerous. And that's what's going to push Shakur. I think Artem, and I'm saying this now, I think Artem is going to be the toughest guy that Shakur's ever been in the ring with. And I think he's going to press Shakur in ways that we have not seen. I think Artem has enough speed to keep up with Shakur. I don't think he's faster, but I definitely think he has enough speed to keep up with him. Artem doesn't waste punches. He's not the type of guy who's going to throw 30,000 punches around. So he's going to be well gassed for the fight. Shakur Stevenson typically has a slower paced fight, and Artem doesn't throw a lot of punches anyway. So he's going to be dangerous throughout the duration of the fight. So he's always going to be dangerous until the last round if he doesn't clip Shakur. And there is a real possibility that he could clip Shakur. Let me be clear about that. Artem is not a slouch. Artem is not a slouch. There's a reason why he's so calm. There's a reason why he's so playful and jovial right now. Because he knows he can fight. And let me tell you, Artem can fight. All you people think, oh, Shakur's just going to wipe the floor with him. You lost your mind. You have lost your mind. Artem can fight. So basically, who am I picking? I'm only picking Shakur because I know he's not going to meet Artem in the center of the ring. He's not going to meet him in the center of the ring. I do know that Shakur Stevenson has a mindset where he wants to prove something. But I think after maybe like round two, I think he'll realize this is not the opponent that tried to prove that point that I got guts and I got big ones on me. This is not the guy. Pick someone else. Pick somebody who was more pillows in their hands than this guy. Pick somebody who's not as experienced as this guy. Like I said, he's a bronze medalist. He's no joke. He's been around the block. Not this guy. But I am picking Shakur Stevenson, unanimous decision.